Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Carnivorous Grandma Speaks. I'm very excited to be back with you guys again. It is a Saturday night, so here we are. My name is Robin Heron, and I've got a really interesting topic I've been thinking a lot about that I wanted to kind of come in and talk to everybody about. And hopefully it's going to be eye-opening for you. And as I've been researching about it, it has been kind of eye-opening for me. But tonight we're going to be talking about insulin resistance, which is a hidden issue that affects millions of people, but often goes undiagnosed for far too long. So we're going to be talking about skin tags. That's one thing that I've been thinking a lot about is do people have skin tags? Do you have them? If you are on a low carb or carnivore diet, are you seeing any kind of changes in your skin tags? And so we're going to talk about insulin resistance, and one of the things that insulin resistance causes is skin tags. So I don't know if you were aware of that, but that is something that I have been thinking a lot about. So, first of all, before we get started, want to just say that if you would go ahead and share this video, go ahead and hit that like button and share the video with somebody that you know needs to know some more information about insulin resistance and particularly about skin tags. So, also want to remind you guys that I am having a meetup in a couple of months. It's going to be August 30th, and I'm super, super excited. We'll talk more about that at the end, but it's called the Impact Meetup, and it's going to be right here in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And so I'll show you guys the flyer at the end. So, hi, Nana. How are you doing? Yes, yay. I'm so glad that this is a topic that is of interest to you. I have been thinking about this literally all week long. And so let's just get right into it. Let's talk a little bit about what is insulin resistance. First of all, let me say that I am not a doctor or physician. I don't even play a doctor on TV, but I've been doing my own research. And of course, you guys know that we have our show, Hey Sister Girl, with our metabolic health practitioner, Denitra Davis. And we always talk about insulin resistance because it is a huge problem for us. And so what happens is that your body's cells stop responding appropriately to insulin. So insulin is a hormone. This hormone helps to regulate blood glucose or blood sugar. And so what normally insulin does in the body is that it helps your cells to absorb glucose from your bloodstream and that fuels your body. But when your cells become resistant to insulin, your body has to work overtime to produce more of it. So this creates a cycle of high blood sugar and high insulin levels. And over time, this leads to a condition called hyperinsulinemia. And that's a fancy term for having too much insulin in the bloodstream. So I always think about insulin like a Pac-Man. And I know that this is really probably way, way oversimplifying the process, but I think about it like a Pac-Man. So I'm going to bring this little slide up because I think that this kind of represents what I'm trying to say here. So let me share my screen for a second. Okay, so basically you eat food. Hi, Calpurnia, how are you? So good to see you here tonight. You eat food. Your body secretes insulin, which is a hormone, in order to, and I think of it like a Pac-Man. So you put in food, you put in glucose, and then the Pac-Mans come out and try to grab that insulin as it's going up, and it grabs that insulin. And I mean, the insulin grabs this glucose, and then it stores that glucose in your cells as fat. So you can see here that you eat food, your body makes insulin or secretes insulin. Your cells become resistant as you continue to put more and more glucose in. And so, as we talk about often on the Hey Sister Girl show, your body literally can only tolerate 1 teaspoon of glucose at a time. So if you're having more than 4 carbohydrates in a day, then you're already overloading your body, and your cells literally just become more and more resistant to insulin, and your body stores more of those sugars on your body as fat. So and then over here, we see that you feel tired and hungry. And then you eat more food and your body secretes more insulin. And this is just it's a vicious cycle, particularly if you are eating carbohydrate. So, things can get out of hand. And that is kind of what we're seeing in the world around us, is that things have gotten out of hand with insulin resistance. So high insulin levels can contribute to a myriad of health issues, but one of them, it could be weight gain, and then you could, possibly have heart disease and or skin tags. So we know that insulin resistance takes time to show up on the body, but there are some telltale signs that you can watch for and that we should be watched for and observe what's happening with our bodies. This is a thing that I think that we have not really done, or at least I didn't do it, is that I was not observant of what was going on with my body, except for when I thought about weight gain. I was always yo-yo dieting and trying to lose weight. So as a matter of fact, I was just talking to my mom yesterday and she said, I just want to lose weight. And I'm like, okay. Okay. That's fine. But, we want to be a little bit more observant about what's going on with our bodies. So, hey Jay. And so glad that you're here. All right. So there's a few things that you can look for. There's probably a lot more things in this, but I'm going to give you a list of just a few of them. So if your waist circumference is getting bigger, your waist is getting bigger, your belly's growing, even though you haven't changed your diet that much. I always used to say I can't eat hardly anything because I'm going to gain weight. And my waist circumference was getting larger. No matter how little bit of food I ate on the standard American diet, my waist was I always had this kind of tummy on myself. So your waist circumference is a significant one. Insulin resistance could be the culprit, causing your belly to retain fat. And so it's one of the earliest signs, and it's also one of the easiest to track. So one of the things that you can do is you can measure your own waist circumference. If your waist circumference is over 35 inches for women and 40 inches for men, then it could be possible that you could be suffering from insulin resistance. And so that's an easy thing that you can do at home is to measure your waist and keep an eye on any changes associated with that. I see Brenda's here. Hi, Brenda. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here tonight. The second one is high blood pressure. So insulin resistance has been linked to high blood pressure because insulin causes the kidneys to hold on to more sodium. This increases the volume of fluid in your bloodstream and leads to higher pressure on your arteries. So if you've been getting readings on your blood pressure that are higher than normal, that could be an indication of insulin resistance. And that is really one of the things that I saw in my when I was standard American diet. Really, I was pretty plant heavy, I would say. I was working at Kellogg and I was eating these Morningstar Farm meatless patties and stuff, and I started having headaches, really, really like devastating headaches, and come to find out my blood pressure was creeping up. So I ended up getting put on a medication for blood pressure. And then I had this thought, and this is like way back when, that keto would help me to resolve my blood pressure issues, because I thought, well, keto will make your blood pressure normalize, and it will. And it did. So I ended up like taken myself off of blood pressure medications because my blood pressure did normalize. But anyway, if you're not on medication and your blood pressure is at 130 over 90 or higher than that, you could have potentially have insulin resistance. So that's something that you can monitor. If you don't have a blood pressure cuff at home, you could get one and just start to monitor this for yourself, and see where is your blood pressure at, and how is it, and things fluctuate over time. I recommend that if you are going to take your blood pressure at home, um, then you could take it at the same time every day. So then that way, when you're tracking and monitoring that, you can see, what's happening kind of consistently at the same time every day. If you're taking your blood pressure 10 times a day, it's going to fluctuate throughout the day. So just take it once a day at the same time every day, and keep track of that so that you can have that information when you do go and talk to your doctor. So, high blood pressure is one of the symptoms and signs of insulin resistance. Then you have elevated A1C levels. So, hey, why don't you guys tell me where you're watching from? I just had this thought. I usually ask that at the beginning of the show. So, drop in there where you guys are watching from. And thank you for being here with me tonight. So, elevated A1C is a big one, right? And so, that's probably the most common one that people are thinking about and talking about when it comes to high blood sugar and also insulin resistance. But there are other factors. So this test gives you an idea of how your blood sugar has been over the past 2 to 3 months. So if your A1C is high, it means that your blood sugar or blood glucose is running higher than it should be. This is a classic sign that your body is struggling to manage insulin and glucose properly. So one of the things that I also want to mention is that if you have a high fasting insulin, and this is something that's kind of invisible to us. We don't usually get this ordered as a lab. If you're going to go for your standard annual physical, your doctor is not likely going to order this this fasting insulin. This is something that you need to advocate for yourself. When I went to the doctor this time, I asked for the fasting insulin through my my doctor. And the nurse told me this is not a common test. We don't usually do this. You're going to have to pay for that out of pocket. And I said, okay, I'll pay for it out of pocket because I want to see what my fasting insulin is, because all of these components together will tell me if I am truly insulin resistant. So if your A1C level is up or your fasting insulin is up, those are all signs of insulin resistance. Now let's talk about skin tags, because this is the topic that I really wanted to get into. So let me know if you or someone you know has skin tags. I know that in the past, people would call this like a mole. They would say, I've got moles, and you'd have a cluster of these mole things on your neck or under your arms. In the folded areas of your body, you might have a cluster of these little, what we call skin tags. So these are like little growths. They seem to appear out of nowhere, and they're often associated with insulin resistance. So this is something that I have been thinking that people might not know, that having an elevated insulin level and struggling to deal with blood glucose can cause these, and then also that they can be reversed. They can fall off, because when you get your insulin normalized, then those skin tags tend to fall off. So when your insulin levels are high, they stimulate the growth of skin cells. So if you think about what insulin does, it is like a growth hormone. I don't know if I would call it like I think of it as a growth hormone. So it stimulates growth. You look at the fat on your body, insulin is stuffing everything into the cells. I think of it like a Pac-Man, like I said. But typically, skin tags are harmless they can be annoying. They can catch on your clothes, I'm going to show a little screenshot of what this looks like, just in case anybody is unsure what I mean when I say skin tags. So hopefully you guys can see this well. It's like these little bumps that grow on your body. They just hang off. Sometimes they'll get caught in necklaces and, stuff like that. They grow a lot of times in clusters. You might have one or two or a bunch of them. And basically, they are a sign of insulin resistance. So that's just a Google search. I just searched that up on Google. So if you have skin tags, that is definitely a sign that you may have insulin resistance. And in fact, you probably do have insulin resistance. So another thing that you could see, I do want to just check here. Before I go on, I just want to say hey to everybody. And also I see that Calpurnia is from Philadelphia. And Nana BC is from Las Vegas. I love Las Vegas. I haven't been in a few years. I need to get back out there. When I come, I'm going to have to connect with you. And then Brenda is from Nottingham, Maryland. Thank you for being here. Calpurnia says, yes, I used to have a lot. Once I started keto and carnivore, they went away. And that is what I think people are finding, is those are not actually moles, even though that's what people are calling them. Moles are something that you might have to actually have it removed if it's an external kind of poking out type of a mole. I have a mole on my chin here. This is like one of those hairy moles. Have to keep plucking it. But that's a mole. So I don't anticipate that is going to go away through a dietary change. But if I had little bumps that, fall off when your insulin starts to normalize, those things are actually due to insulin resistance and high glucose. So Nana says hundreds, started on my belly and have migrated up to the neck and few on the face. Nana, are you on carnivore yet? And have you seen any changes with your skin tags? So this is something that reducing your sugar and, a carnivore diet is really good for this because it's going to limit your insulin rises. So carnivore meat is a food product that doesn't have sugar. Your body can, though, generate its own glucose. So, so you will have glucose in your body, even if you do not eat any sugar at all, because your body will create what it needs. And so, basically when you reduce that insulin and start to become more insulin sensitive, those skin tags will start to reduce and fall off. All right. So another thing that can happen with insulin resistance is fatigue and energy crashes. So basically, we have a lot of people who are suffering from fatigue, but particularly after eating even a low carb meal, you may get very, very tired. Oh, I see I'm doing a thumbs up. So, we often do not connect fatigue with insulin resistance, but it can be a symptom of insulin resistance. So when you're tired after a meal, especially a carb heavy one, your body is trying to regulate glucose. So if you're constantly feeling wiped out, it might be time to look at your insulin sensitivity, and we'll talk about how to do that in a little bit. So another sign could be increased. Oh, really? Okay, cool. So hopefully those will start to reduce and fall off. They should when you become more insulin sensitive. We'll talk at the end about labs and stuff that you can check to see how is your insulin sensitivity. And so we'll take a look at that towards the end. So increased hunger or cravings. So I always think about this. There was this commercial with the football team, and there's this old granny on the football team. She's all great, grumpy and cranky. She's fussing and yelling at everybody. And then they give her a Snickers bar, and she turns back into a football player. Have you guys seen that? Have you guys seen that that video or that commercial? those cravings can be caused, especially carbohydrate cravings can be caused by when your body is not regulating or utilizing glucose properly. So if you're having increased hunger, cravings, when you're having carbohydrates, particularly, um, when your body is not regulating glucose properly. So your Pac-Mans are working hard and you're having to send more and more Pac-Mans out to get those glucose and sugars. It just sends your body the signal that you're hungry. So when you're having glucose and insulin rises and spikes and then crashes throughout the day, you're going to be hungrier. And so if you're using quick energy like sweets or bread or pasta, even those things are going to increase your hunger and your cravings. I have been talking to many carnivores who have been starting recently, and one of the most profound things that they have been mentioning to me is that the amazing fact that they are not hungry. Because when you are on a standard American diet and you're eating all those carbohydrates, you constantly have to feel hungry. You always feel like you should feel a little bit hungry. You're doing good if you feel a little bit hungry. But when you eat a carnivore diet, and are you guys seeing the same thing, that when you eat a carnivore diet, you really are just less hungry? You can easily eat just 1 or 2 meals a day. You don't have to have 3 meals a day plus 3, 4, 5 snacks in a day. You just don't have that issue because your body is regulating your blood glucose better because you're not adding those additional sugars in. Okay, so that's increased hunger and cravings. And then the last one is this dark skin patches. So have you ever seen people who have this dark patches like here on the side of their faces? You might have dark on your neck. Even I had, I wonder if I have a media asset in here that I can show you guys, because I had dark circles around my eyes. Oh yeah, right here. Let me show you this. So if you look at these pictures around my eyes, I had this dark around my mouth. I had this dark, and even as a kid, I had, dark around my neck. I had it behind my ears. I had it in the creases of my elbows, and then down behind my knees and stuff. This dark skin patches. It's called acanthosis nigricans. It often appears on the neck, underarms, in the groin area in people with insulin resistance. So if you have that, if you have those dark patches on the sides of your face, around your neck, that is a likely sign that you have insulin resistance. And so it's easy to spot. You can tell it for yourself. No one really has to tell you that you have this. And it will go away as you become more insulin sensitive. So, have you guys experienced any of these symptoms? I know a couple of you have mentioned that you have had skin tags. I see that Calpurnia has had a dark neck, but that's gone away. And then are there any others that you have seen, like your waist circumference increasing, or energy crashes? Drop a comment and let me know. So certainly I'm definitely here to support everybody and want to make sure that everybody gets this information, because I was thinking all week about skin tags and the fact that people probably don't know that skin tags are caused by too much insulin. And too much insulin is caused by too much sugar. All right. So here, let's talk about some solutions, some management that you can do. So there is good news. Once you know the signs of insulin resistance, you can take action to turn things around. So here's a couple of quick and powerful steps that you can take to improve your insulin sensitivity and get back on track with your health. One is the dietary changes. That's the top one for me. Going on a ketogenic diet. is going to be probably the best game changer thing that you can do for your life. If you want to manage insulin resistance, cutting back on sugar and refined carbohydrates is critical. So, a low carb or carnivore diet can work wonders for stabilizing blood sugar and improving insulin sensitivity. So, you're going to focus on whole, nutrient dense food like meat, healthy fats, and if you can tolerate vegetables, then you could do a few low carb vegetables if you prefer to do that. So, I found that I was just looking back at a video that I did about 6 months after I started carnivore. And I saw that I still had a little bit of that darkness around my eyes and around my mouth. Um, Now, I think within about 9 months, that was completely gone. Like I no longer had that. Um, and my waist circumference was starting to go down. Now my waist circumference is not in the insulin resistance range. And my blood pressure is normalized. My fasting insulin is really good. But however, my A1C is still in the range, like right there at the range for prediabetes. So I'm going to continue to monitor that and see how it goes. So changing your diet is one thing that you can do if you're concerned that you may have insulin resistance. Another thing that you can do is movement. Move your body. So a lot of us, let me just, before I go into this one, let's go ahead and take a look at these. So Calpurnia is saying that my neck was dark, but it's gone away. Congratulations. That's really good. Nana doesn't have any cravings, is seldom hungry, but your energy could use a boost. Are you eating enough fat, Nana? So that's a question that I would have. And then Calpurnia is saying, I used to have all the symptoms, but a lot has improved. I still have more weight to lose. I will be asking for a fasting insulin blood test. I don't care if I have to pay out of pocket. That's what I said. I'm like, yeah, I mean, how much could it be? So I definitely wanted it because I wanted to see insulin in specific. I really wanted to just see what that insulin was doing. So exercise. One of the things that I have done recently is I have been consistently exercising every single day, walking my 14,400 steps every day, even if I have to march up to bedtime. So I'll be caught marching around inside my house, watching a show because it's been cold. And that movement is really, really powerful. I want to just mention 3 game changers that I have found since I've been on the carnivore diet. The first one is carnivore itself. It's been a true game changer for me and has changed everything. The second one has been movement and consistently getting that movement in every single day, no matter what. So that's been really powerful. And I'm a person who likes to do challenges. So the fact that we have a challenge, a Hey Sister Girl walking challenge every month really, really helps me to get that done. And then the third thing has been increasing fat. So I did try doing the stick of butter a day challenge. Stick of butter a day did not work for me. But increasing my fat by using beef fat has been really, really powerful. With energy and also for me, one of my struggles has been anxiety. So I find that when I eat that beef fat every day, it really helps with my mental health. So that's something that's been a true game changer. So those are the 3 game changers that I have realized since I've been on carnivore. So losing weight can be a powerful tool for insulin, for alleviating or relieving insulin resistance. So losing weight, particularly around your belly, can significantly reduce insulin resistance. So focus on sustainable, healthy weight loss. Now, here's the thing. I was a yo-yo dieter. I did all the crash diets. I was a professional dieter and, I could diet. If I need to lose 10 pounds, I would go on a diet, period. And I could easily, go and lose some weight. But those quick fixes never really worked. They didn't give me the health and vitality that I have today from being on a long-term healthy way of eating for over 2 years. So it needs to be sustainable. It needs to be something that you can keep it off. Yo-yo dieting is not good. It's very stressful on the body. And so remember that carnivore is not a crash diet. I think that this is the thing that people need to realize. People want to lose weight fast. And like I was saying, I was talking to my mom, and my mom is like, I just want to lose weight. I don't care about any of that other stuff. I just want to lose weight. And I'm like, well, carnivore is not a crash diet, because carnivore is going to work on your body, and it's going to do all the things that you need to have done as far as health and vitality are concerned. And so if your body is not prioritizing weight loss because you have some other healing that needs to be done, then you might, take a little longer to lose weight. But we need to remember that this isn't about a quick fix. It's about a lasting change, becoming insulin sensitive, and your body healing itself from the inside out. So and a lot of people have lost a lot of weight on carnivore and have kept it off for many years. I think about the first person that's popping to my mind is Kelly Hogan. She looks absolutely amazing. Bella, a steak and butter gal, looks amazing, but they have been carnivore for a long time, a very long time, and have seen some incredible health benefits. Manage your stress. Manage your stress. So high cortisol levels from high stress, chronic stress, can worsen insulin resistance. So I don't know if you guys have heard me say my sleep is trash. I do not sleep well. And I think it's because I have high cortisol, high stress. I'm constantly thinking about things. I'm in my mind, I'm always working. I'm working on something constantly. And so, stress management is a huge thing that we need to think about. And how are we going to get stress out? So do you do meditation, deep breathing exercises, even like a walk, a normal walk? Because I'm walking fast, because I got to get 14,400 steps. So I'm booking it, trying to get those steps in. That's not a very stress reducing way of walking. But taking time to relax, like today, I've been working hard in my house, doing some cleaning and organizing and stuff. I still got a lot more to do, but I took a break and just kind of laid on the couch and chilled out for like an hour before the show tonight, because I needed to just relax. So we need to manage our stress. And that is one key to improving our metabolic health. So we want to make sure that we get enough sleep. As I said, like last night, my sleep was awful. And I got this ring. I got the Aura ring. Have you guys seen that? And it tracks everything. And so I'll be doing a review on this coming up pretty soon, because I really, really like it. And it tells me like your sleep, it says to me, your sleep was trash last night. In those very words. No, it doesn't tell me that, but it says like you're not getting enough good restful sleep. If you're having trouble with waking up and down, it talks about sleep hygiene and things that you can do to get a better night's sleep. And so that's really good. So getting good quality sleep is very important for insulin sensitivity, because poor sleep increases insulin resistance. So make sure that you're getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. Give me a thumbs up if you're actually getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. I'm not giving a thumbs up for that, because I really am probably getting about 6.5 hours of sleep each night. And then, of course, you want to work closely with your medical practitioner, your healthcare professional, even your health coach, which I'm doing some health coaching now. So if you're interested in that, you can feel free to reach out to me. But work with your healthcare professional to manage your insulin resistance. I'm not going to recommend medication, but there may be some things that you can do that will help you, that your doctor can provide for you. And so work with your doctor, and then make sure that you're advocating for yourself though, and make sure that your doctor understands your personal health goals. because basically, we want to make sure that we are our own advocate. You remember that our doctors work for us, and we're partners in that process with them. So, your doctor should be listening to you, and you guys should be having a really good, healthy doctor-patient relationship. Nana C has a question. So, can chronic pain raise cortisol? I have knee arthritis and a torn meniscus in both knees, so I'm unable to fitness walk. Good job, Nana. I'm so glad that you have started your chair exercises. That's an excellent option. Chronic pain can raise cortisol because it does cause stress. So, if you are having chronic pain, you may want to consider that as a part of the reason why you might have a high cortisol levels. And I have knee arthritis as well. My knee arthritis has gotten a lot better on carnivore, less painful. Not that my knee is growing, my tissues are growing back, because my knee is very crunchy when I go up and down stairs. Even when I raise and lower my leg, I can feel that crunching in my knee. And my physician, my orthopedic surgeon, is saying that I'm ultimately probably headed toward having a knee replacement surgery. So I'm trying to do everything I can to make it so I do not have to have that. And that includes, doing all this walking and also trying to build up the strength and the muscles around the knee, because I'm not getting the tissue back. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing the chair exercises. That's really good. That's good to teach your body that you are a mover. So that's excellent. All right. So, what questions do you guys have? What changes have you made to try to increase your insulin sensitivity? Have you guys been thinking about insulin as one of the components or one of the factors of part of your health journey? Reducing insulin, glucose and insulin spikes, letting your insulin level out so that your body can become more insulin sensitive, and that your body can release inflammation. And so that's one of the things that we really want to do, is to allow our bodies to release inflammation. And so let me know if you guys have any questions about that. So I am going to go ahead and wrap up. So I want to just talk about, the insulin resistance is something that many of us are dealing with, not just some of us. 93% of Americans are dealing with metabolic health issues. They're just metabolically unhealthy. And that means that they have some level of insulin resistance. So we can recognize the symptoms of insulin resistance, and we can take action and become our own health advocate. And I think this is the thing that has been challenging, is that we kind of have gone to our doctors. We've let our doctors, make decisions without us really understanding what's going on with our own bodies. But your body is your house. So, you need to think about what the things you can do to advocate for your own self in your own house, and how you can, become more insulin sensitive, allow your body to release inflammation, things like waist circumference, skin tags, high blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, it's likely that you are insulin resistant. And then also, you want to look at certain labs. So I want to tell you what labs that you should get, and the things that you should be looking at to identify whether you are insulin resistant. So a lipid panel is very important. The thing that we want to be, I know that we've been talking about good and bad cholesterol. I'm kind of throwing that language away, but we know that we got HDL, we got LDL. LDL cholesterol has been demonized as a bad cholesterol, that if that number is high, that it is bad, and is going to lead you toward chronic heart disease, heart attack, stroke, those kinds of things. And that's actually, we need to think about the granularity of the data that we're looking at. So we're looking at super high level data. and make sure that we are looking at those in context. So is it those large fluffy LDL molecules or those small dense LDL molecules? That matters. And so when you're getting your a lipid panel, you can ask your doctor to give you a more in-depth breakdown on the LDL. But the HDL, the triglycerides, there's a ratio for HDL triglyceride to HDL ratio that if it's greater than a 3, then you're likely to have insulin resistance. So when you look at your labs, take those numbers and calculate the ratio, triglycerides to HDL, and see what that's looking like. A fasting insulin level. So fasting insulin is a real big indicator of your level of insulin resistance. So I'm going to tell you what the numbers should be. Fasting insulin should be less than 6. So less than 6. And mine was a 4 or 4.4, something like that. It was in the 4 range. So it was really, really good. I was happy about that. But my A1C was still like right there on the edge of metabolic resistance. So the next one is an A1C. And so if your A1C is less than 5, that's really good. It's 5 to 5.6%, then you're okay. Anything over 5.6% is going to be like insulin resistant. And so mine was a 5.6. So I was like right at the border, right at the edge of pre-diabetes. And I probably was getting into the pre-diabetes range before I started carnivore. And so, but I had not been diagnosed. So when I saw these numbers, I'm like, oh, okay. So I was really, really close to that. All right. So then a CAC score. So CAC score is something that you can look at getting done. That is a coronary artery calcium score. And it is from getting a CT scan of the heart. So it quantifies the amount of calcium deposits found in the coronary arteries. And so these calcium deposits are often an indicator of atherosclerosis, which is a buildup of plaque in the arteries. So it is relevant to insulin resistant and metabolic health. So people with insulin resistance are at a higher risk for developing metabolic syndrome. Of course, we just talked about some of the things: obesity, hypertension, and lipedema, dyslipidemia. And those increase your risk of atherosclerosis and cardiovascular disease. So a coronary artery calcium score is another one that you could look at getting. All right. So we want to make sure that we are driving our bodies towards insulin sensitivity and, health and vitality by choosing a proper diet for human beings. And that is going to be a low carb, ketogenic, or carnivore diet. Now, I will say that not every single person in the world needs to be on a carnivore diet like I do. Some people can tolerate plants, but we know that plants have anti-nutrients and other properties that are toxic to the body. So overconsumption of plants, fruits, and vegetables is going to be problematic. We need to minimize our carbohydrate intake. So if you're thinking about in terms of insulin resistance, even plants are going to cause your insulin to rise because they are carbohydrates. So that's just something to think about. All right, I don't see any other questions out here. So I do want to share with you guys that I am having a meetup this summer and I am super excited. It's a little ways away. It's going to be in August. So let me share my, let me see if I can find my, oh, hold on a second. Let me bring it up because I think I closed the window that I had it up in. Here we go. Almost there. Okay. I'm super excited about this meetup. Um, are you guys seeing that? Yep, you are. Okay. So it's called the Impact Meetup and Eat Up with Carnivorous Grandma and Friends. And you can see that we have a really nice lineup coming to be part of this event. Dr. Kiltz will be in the house, and we recently did confirm Dr. Tony Hampton is going to be here as well. And also, we will have Denitra Davis, our metabolic health practitioner. We've got Terry Carver from at My Terrific Life. And she's going to talk about what it's like to be a carnivore that's on the road all the time. And then we have Frederick and G from Hanging with the Browns. And who knows who else will show up? I hope that I will see you in the house with us on that weekend. So the date is going to be August 30th, 2025. 12 to 4 is going to be the main event. It's a family affair, and it will be here in Kalamazoo. It's at a location called the Drake Farmstead Barn. And you can register for this using the QR code. This is on my website. So on my website, you will see that I have created an area where you can go and see this flyer, and you can click this button where it says register now and register for the event. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing a walk in the morning. Well, it's starting at noon. So right at the beginning of it, we're going to be doing a walk. We're going to have some clean, sugar-free foods. So it's a sugar-free event. There will be nothing there that's going to convert into sugar in your body. So that's going to be provided by Uncle Mike's Smoked Meats. I always talk about my stepdad because he's does amazing smoked meats. So he's going to be providing the meal. My son, Nubian Brand, the one that does my music for my videos, he is going to be spinning the tunes. So we will have music. We're going to have games outside if it's a sunny day. And then at the end, we're going to have an after party. The after party starts at 4:30 to 7:30. And so after party is going to be like games and line dancing. And stuff like that. So if you're not able to attend the whole thing and you just want to attend the after party, that's $10. So you'll see those options as you look at the Eventbrite. And hopefully I will see you at the Impact Meetup. It's going to be so much fun right here in Michigan. So there's that. I also want to mention to you guys that Monday night is Hey Sister Girl, 7:00 Eastern time. And so we'll be live this Monday night. And I think it's going to be Hey Brother Man. So if you know some guys that need to find out more about insulin resistance, more about carnivore, more about low carb ketogenic diets, send them the link to the video for Hey Sister Girl from Monday night. And that's going to be a fun show as well. Next Saturday night, I'm going to be back with my 3 friends who have recently achieved their 90 days on carnivore. So that 90-day mark on carnivore is so profound. I thought it would be really awesome to have them come back and talk about what it has been like to be a 90 days on carnivore. Like, what is the good, bad, and ugly of that? Are they planning to continue on with carnivore? What kind of lifestyle choices are they making? So they will be here with me next Saturday evening at 5:30 p.m. for CarnivorousGrama Speaks. All right, you guys. So before we go, don't forget to like this video, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss an episode of CarnivorousGrama Speaks. I'm going to be back with more health tips and insights. If there's a topic that you think that you want to have me talk about, please drop it in the comments and let me know what it is that you are concerned about, and we can come back and talk about that. So again, can't wait to see you guys at the Impact Meetup in August. I hope everybody has a good weekend. Happy holiday weekend, And hopefully you're off work on Monday and can relax and enjoy this weekend. All right, you guys, I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.